Hello again, and we're doing part 3 now. We're onward to part 3. If you can't see my shirt very well, it should be established that I'm wearing a tie-dye button-off shirt because a few years ago, at a little thing my choir was doing, we were doing tie-dyeing, and I didn't exactly want to use a normal t-shirt, so I had this white button-up, and I decided, well, let's ruin that forever. I thought that would be in good spirits, and I still really, really like it. The glare is a little too much for you to see the color, but it's quite colorful and quite unique, I'd like to think. I haven't combed my hair this morning, so yeah, the beret helps cover that. But, of course, before we get started on talking about anything else, we, of course, have to go into our next Scribblenauts toy. So, see what we got today. We've got... Alright! It's Jay and Silent Bob! I didn't go to my normal, I didn't go to my normal store today. I didn't go to my normal Jay's CD and Hobby. I went to a different Jay's CD and Hobby, because while I was running errands, that was the closer one. And maybe I'm lacking in loyalty, but whatever. And they didn't have any Scribblenauts toys. So I was just like, alright, well, what else can I grab? So, I got a little, like, Lego figure, I think it's called a minifig. A little Lego-like Jay. A little Lego-like Silent Bob. Yeah, I'm a big Kevin Smith fan. I'm pretty sure I've said that like 100 times. Please enjoy this photo of me in my Silent Bob costume from last Halloween. Yeah. Alright, so minifigurines of Jay and Silent Bob. Yay! And with that done, Batman Eternal Week 3. The Batmobile speeding away from that explosion, that has nothing to do with the comic. Nothing like that happens in here, but covers lie a lot. I mean, the point of the cover is to suck you in, and that's a good suck you in cover. Of all of the comic, of what I knew initially going into Batman Eternal, this was very much the issue I was looking forward to, and I said that last week, and if anyone's been following Batman Eternal at all, you know why. Because my favorite DC comic character is basically back from the relaunch. My favorite DC comic character, who they removed at the relaunch, is finally back. The good Miss Stephanie Brown has returned to comic books, and thank the Lord. Oh, I'm a pretty substantial Stephanie Brown fan. I know we're not sitting here to go over my whole life story with it all, but like just in a few sentences what she means to me as a comic book reader. The funny thing is, I've always been a big fan of Tim Drake, who is the third Robin. And I got introduced to him through the old Batman animated series, and I really, really liked him. He was in the new Batman Adventures. He was in like season 4 or whatever that was, and was subsequently had a fairly prominent role in the Batman Beyond movie and all that. So I was always a Tim Drake fan, and then when I started actually reading comic books, well, you delve with Tim Drake too long, you meet his girlfriend, Stephanie Brown, and it was funny just the moment when I realized that while reading some Robin comics, while reading some of Chuck Dixon's run on Robin, how much more I started to care about Stephanie than I cared about Tim. So, and it's hard to explain exactly why she's such a special character in my mind. I think if nothing else, it might be because, like, I love characters who have to overcome huge amounts of adversity, and naturally, like, almost everyone in comic books has to deal with that all the time, but that Stephanie was very much just, like, Stephanie is normal even by the standards of Batman, even by, like, you know, when all of the characters are relatively supposed to be normal people who, you know, put on costumes and fight crime. She's normal by that standard, or at least originally was, once you got into her time with Batgirl, once, you know, once you start getting into some of this, and yeah, I got a ton of these sitting right over here, it becomes a little more debatable, but she still made up for that. What she lacked in being a hugely normal character, she started to make up for in her, knock the comic down, sweet, very fun spirit. And like, it's always been a big part of Stephanie's character that she has really been to hell and back. I mean, growing up with an abusive father who is a supervillain, you know, joining the war on Gotham's crime. She had a teenage pregnancy in the old 52. All kinds of stuff. Yeah, and of course, you know, she died. She didn't really die, but it looked like she died. Comic book retcons. That retcon that Stephanie wasn't actually dead was quick and lazy and stupid, but I forgive it because we got the character back. It's as simple as that. Putting all of that aside, we're talking New 52 now. We're talking Batman Eternal. We saw her for the first time since the New 52 got started, outside of a preview issue, which I've got over there, Batman issue 28, where whatever's going on. Yeah, it's a flash forward to like 6 months into this series. Why do they flash 6 months toward the end and then open this series on the burning Gotham? I mean, it's all over the place. That's all right. So Steph gets introduced, and she's going over to her dad, the Clue Master, who, because she forgot her Q pad there. All right. I really hate bland name products, as TV Tropes calls them, but you know, whatever. So she's going over to get her Q pad from her dad's house because she forgot it there, and it establishes, you know, she lives with her mom like she does in the old 52, and she goes in, and there's a supervillain meeting going on, and they knock her out, and she overhears some of what they're saying, and they basically say at one point, well, now we gotta kill her, because she knows all this. And it's like, why? Why didn't you get rid of her earlier, or why? She knows that there's a gathering of supervillains. She doesn't know your plan. She knows you're all there. You don't, unless you sat down and someone in the shadows says, you know, now she knows our plan. She doesn't know anything. Are you serious? It's like, you know, knock her out. She's on the ground. She's unconscious. Now, as I was saying, if we could resume the meeting, please. Sir, my teenage daughter is knocked out right over there. Shouldn't we move her out of the room or something first? I mean, we are going to be discussing our plan, and she might regain consciousness. Shut up, Arthur. Yeah, shut up, Arthur. Arthur is the Meg Griffin. Clue Master is the Meg Griffin of this supervillain alliance. That would be good. Boy. I always pictured him with a real southern drawl. He's not really been in anything where they've given him a voice, so it's not like that's official or anything, but... And so she, you know, gets her composure just in time to run away from this supervillain meeting. And Clue Master is told to pull a gun on her. And he says, you know, you were always a disappointment. Let's hope I do better next time. Alright, do you got a bun in the oven there, Arthur? Do you? Is that what you're implying? Oh well, whatever. I don't know how I felt about that. That seemed a little... And maybe that wasn't an actual gun. I mean, I'm totally open to the idea. Maybe that wasn't an actual gun. Maybe he wasn't actually gonna kill her. And I hope so, because, like, yeah, Batman villains are generally ruthless and generally will, you know, kill at the drop of a hat, but Arthur Brown is not like that. The Clue Master is not like that. He always had a certain humility to him. He always was a little more human, just enough. Like, you know, they do establish that he was a bit of an abuser towards his daughter, but he always cared about her too. I mean, if we want to go back to these, because I had these prepared. These are the first 3 comics Stephanie appeared in. Of course I have those on standby. You have no idea how much of this crap I keep ready for whenever I need to reference things in these vlogs. Arthur, in those comics, the Clue Master, it's established that, yeah, he was a bit of a monster. He was a bit of an abuser towards his wife and his daughter. But, you know, the moment he finds out in those stories that she's a vigilante, and the moment he finds out she's trying to foil him, you know, he's going to try and kill her when he's got her captive. And he asks Batman, you know, what are you going to do? Are you going to try and appeal to my humanity? And Batman's badass response is just, that's your daughter. And he takes off her mask, and she beats the shit out of him. And she's going to kill him. I mean, she's totally willing to kill him in her first appearance. And Batman manages to call her off, but he's not willing to kill her. He doesn't want to kill her. And he never has in the comics. There was one point maybe it was a little debatable, but he was also kind of insane at the time, so I don't think I count it. Clue Master has never been about killing Stephanie Brown, no matter how many times she's ruined him. Even to the point that, like, you know, she's allowed to go into Blackgate to visit him at one point, and again, she just beats the ever-living hell out of him. But she's a teenage girl, and he just, like, you know, does not lay a finger on her while he's in police custody. Yeah, visiting hours, and she just beats the ever-living crap out of him. And there was a point in the comics in which they established that Stephanie might have been, like, sexually abused by a babysitter of hers, and then that babysitter was, like, found dead days later. And they implied the Clue Master killed him. So, I so don't want the Clue Master to have really been willing to go through and kill Stephanie. Because that's not him. That's not how he operates. But it is a new universe, so I'll let it be what it turns out to be. We'll see what it turns out to be. And there's a really, really just kind of good dark image at the end of it that's just her running in the rain in this purple hoodie, trying desperately to call her mom, and you know, she's saying, Dad's trying to kill me, Dad's trying to kill me, and her mom won't pick up, and I have to wonder, like, I hope they're not implying Crystal's dead. I mean, Crystal Brown was a great supporting character for Steph during the Batgirl run, and even while Stephanie was spoiler, she was a good character, and I really hope they're not implying she's dead. I really hope they're not implying Arthur went out and killed her. I like Steph's mom, and even if we're kind of shooing her out of the picture now, I mean, if she's still alive, I hope we see more of her later, because she's a sweet, loving mother. She's a very good woman, and there's her, you know, that's hard to come by amongst Batman characters. Most Batman characters have lost their mothers. Steph is a notable exception. Well, Cassandra Cain still has her mom, but that's a very unbalanced relationship, so no need to linger on that. I've spent almost this entire time talking about Steph. Honestly, Steph seemed to be the main focus of a lot of the comic. It is a lot more of that jumping perspectives thing, which I'm fine with. I like that we're doing this week to week, and that we can follow along with this, and then we can approach this from so many different angles. I mean, I think I would get kind of bored if it was just like, alright, so we're seeing this character this week, and the next week we're going to see this character only, and it's like, no, I like the shifting viewpoints. We're going to do this week by week. Shifting viewpoints, yeah. So with Gordon behind bars, I can't believe this is still the same day. It's the same damn day. It's like 24 hours later, tops. And so Gordon's still in prison, and so Forbes is now in charge of the Gotham police. and he's getting paid off by Falcone. So, and he's Batman is his target. So, all right, there we go. We're set for our Batman versus the Police. While a gang war between Falcone and the Penguin is about to break out. Hell yeah. Oh boy, this is just I'm ready for some real insanity to start breaking loose, because it's already starting to crack and I'm just waiting for it to shatter. Oh, I'm just very much looking forward to what all comes next. Trying to think if there's anything else important. Nothing in Gordon's blood. So, no scarecrow toxin or anything. Something else happened, and yeah, they did say, Batman does know, they must have coordinated him to attack at just the right time. It's like, get that plot point out of here. It's just so, it's just like, can we go back to pretending that train was caused by anything else that still could have had to do with Gordon? Please? Because, two trains colliding because he shot the train in the shit box. That's stupid. It's stupid. But, you know what? Whatever. It still did what it needed to do, and it's still building to something that looks like it's going to be pretty damn cool. I should bring up, upon rereading things and double-checking my DC history, Blackfire from last week was Deacon Joseph Blackfire from Batman the Cult, which I've never read but am familiar with and always thought sounded like a fantastic story. So, he's apparently some kind of scary Necron-looking guy now. And they've hinted he might show up in Detective Comics number 30, so there you go, DC. I might have to read Detective Comics number 30. Oh, boy, but... So, yeah, we've had more really good build-up. The shifting viewpoints is really interesting. I'm really curious about what's going to happen to Stephanie, what's going to happen with Batman, Penguin. I'm curious as to what's going to happen on every end of this. So, that's a sign of a damn good series going right now. So, I'm still enjoying the hell out of this. They tease next week will be Batman versus Batgirl, and I'm kind of wondering, well, what does Barbara want? Why does Barbara want to bother Batman right now? I mean, her father's in prison. That's not his fault. Unless she finds a way in which it is his fault. That would be interesting. That would be interesting. I'm also kind of curious, going long on time here, I know, but just stream of consciousness, other thoughts. I am kind of curious if they did build up that, we're going to get back to the Tim and Stephanie relationship. Tim Drake and Stephanie Brown, already mentioned Tim. And I'm kind of wondering if maybe they know each other already? I mean, we haven't been given any indication of that. But that seems like it would be the smart way to go. Because, like, do we really want to start this romance from the beginning? This, romance that comic readers will already know. Admittedly, non-comic readers won't. But, like, do we really have to start this one from the beginning? Couldn't they already know each other somehow? I mean, she's not spoiler yet. She's not. That's been established. She's going to come into her superheroine identity. That's fine. But, like, just mentioning that, maybe she and Tim used to date, that would be fine. I think that would, that kind of adds to what we don't need to spend time developing right now. And it'd be an interesting angle, and Steph's already coming from an interesting angle. We've never seen her when she doesn't know her father's a supervillain. We've never seen her when she's not acting as a superheroine. So that's already interesting, but it seems like that little bit of familiarity would be nice. So, I don't know. I can't say for sure right now. I hope they already know each other, because it would be nice to just have that. It would be nice if they, just somehow knew each other first, so we don't have to tell their whole story all over again. Again, I love the classic Tim and Stephanie stories, but we don't need to do those over again. Let's do something new now, and I want them to be a couple. I'd love them as a couple. They're my favorite DC power couple. But just like, you know, get to the new stuff, and don't waste too much time treading old ground, which it doesn't look like they're going to do at all for most of the rest of this series. So, with that said, that's my thoughts on week 3. This is probably the last time you'll see my college apartment because I'm moving back home this next week. And so I'll see you back on the love seat for issue 4.